Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And just so you guys know, even us YouTube experts that make all these videos still flub. I just got through recording this whole intro only to realize that I hadn't checked to see if the zoom was fixed on my camera to the correct length. So, you know, the whole intro is probably me talking like this. It is what it is. Come on, Brian. Anyway, so take two. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're out here in the country with Rick, and we're gonna be digging a basement and putting in an engineered septic. It's gonna be a pressurized system. And if you have no idea what that means, I don't either. So, I mean, I know basic concepts of how it works. So the way this is going to work is, down here are the basement stakes. We'll get into that in a minute. But just to the right of the basement stakes down there, we will have two tanks. And out of the second tank, there will be a pump that will pressurize the gray water, if you will, and pump it up the hill here to about this stake right here. This is our inlet pipe stake. We measured that out, so it's in the center of our drain field. Then we kind of go over to these stakes here. So you can see there's a couple stakes right here, and then there's another stake, let me see if I can check my screen, way back up in here. This is going to be a super long 6-foot wide mound that basically has two runs of pipe running the entire length. Our inlet pipe will be right in the middle. It will actually stub up vertically in the middle of this mound, and then we'll run a T so that the gray water can go each direction. So what I'm doing right now is I have to fluff the top 6 inches of dirt, and the reason they do that is because we're about to make a giant mound of sand, and they want a good transfer of fluid, of water, from the sand down to the existing ground. And if we didn't fluff this material, you know, you can imagine if we poured a cup of water right here on this ground, the water is going to kind of pool and it's going to take forever to settle. Versus if I go pour a cup of water in this material over here that I've fluffed, you can see how it's going to be able to absorb readily into the ground. So that's the whole idea behind fluffing this. I'm going down 6 inches, and I'm not using a ruler, just a little operator tip. My teeth are roughly 6 to 8 inches long, so I'm basically going down the depth of my teeth and just fluffing it, raking it around, trying to break up that vegetation and making it nice and floofy so that the inspector will be happy with it. Once you fluff this material, you cannot get back out on it. If I were to track over this, he would fail it. I'd have to refluff it. It'd be a pain in the ass. You also, come to find out, cannot fluff that and leave it in the rain. Oh my gosh, mosquitoes, they're awful, guys, I'm sorry. You can't leave it open in the rain because that's going to recompact it. So we were supposed to start this job yesterday, and unfortunately we got a bunch of rain through, so we had to push. So we are finally out here this morning. I've started fluffing. Inspector should be by here in the next 15-20 minutes to check this portion of our dig out and verify we're doing it right. So from here, what will happen is Rick's going to start trucking in 2NS sand. That's where he's at right now. We will dump it directly on that fluffed area, and we're going to build a mound that's about 3 feet tall of 2NS sand. 2NS sand is a really clean sand. It's pretty much only used in drainage applications like septic fields because it's an expensive sand. But we're going to build our primary berm out of 2NS sand. Then we will have, I believe it's 6 inches or a foot of stone on top of that. That's where our pipe will live, is inside that stone layer at the top. And then we'll cap the whole thing over with 6 to 10 inches, I think, of class 3 sand, which isn't the super clean sand like the 2NS, but it's just kind of a fill sand. And that's going to be the mound, and it just lives like that. You can't topsoil it, you can't plant vegetation on it, you just have to let it live like that because it's got to be able to breathe as that water comes through and seeps down into the ground. So that's stage 1, that's what we're working on today. Then, probably around Thursday or Friday, we're going to swing over here and dig this basement. And this will be its own separate video on how to dig basements. I do plan on doing a down and dirty just to give you guys some pointers. But this is the basement. And if I recall, this corner here is going to stick out of the ground about 2 feet at the top of the wall. And we're going to have to trim out that side over there to do some basic grading. So that's the project. And to add to the excitement, we've got Kevin from idig that came and hooked us up with an idig system. If you're not familiar with that, it's a really affordable system. It's an indicate-only machine control system, which means it doesn't integrate into the hydraulics or the electronics of the machine. It's purely indication, so it's a light bar that tells you where you're at in relation to grade. But it's a really affordable system. You can get into this system for under 15 grand, and you can move it to whatever machine you want. It's only on excavators right now. He said they are working on a dozer component down the road, but right now idig is only for excavators. But you can, if you've got a Mini, a CX130, and a 250, as long as you've got the brackets on each machine, you literally pop these sensors right off and you can transfer machines. So that's really exciting. We get to play with that for the week, courtesy of Kevin and idig. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. So we will kind of talk through that as we use it over the week, and I'll kind of let you guys know what I'm doing, and then I of course plan on doing some down and dirties. So that is what we're doing. So I'm gonna go jump in the machine and continue floofing. I did not record any of that this morning because the inspector was gonna be here super quick and I had to get that area opened up for him. So we're gonna go jump back in the machine and I can at least start talking about the idig system with you guys while we wait for our inspector to show up. We'll catch you in a minute. All right, everyone, so I have officially sprayed out our lines for our field here because I was eyeballing earlier and Rick brought the tape and paint with him. So we'll get in line here without getting on our stuff we fluffed. So I'm not really using the idig system right this second, but I will at least give you a super high level quick overview of the idig system here in a second when I get situated. Alright, so basically you've got a touchscreen. So none of this stuff integrates with the actual machine. It is all independent. I can remove all of this stuff in a matter of about 5 minutes, and then the machine is completely back to stock. So you've got your screen here, you have the light bar, and then there's a piece that's actually hidden under the floor mat. This is your pitch and roll sensor, and it also has a gyroscope so it can sense rotation of the machine. That's kind of the brain that talks to this stuff. And then we have a sensor on the stick, on the boom, and on the bucket. Alright, so I know the wind noise is probably going to be terrible on this, but you know what? I'm too lazy to get my microphone out because this is going to be a 3-second clip, but here it is. So we got the back half covered, but this is all fluffed. So we are prepped to throw down sand, which we are in the process of doing. We got rain coming around too. So I've just spent the past, I don't know, half hour fluffing, which begs the question, does that make me a fluffer? I don't know, food for thought on that one. We'll catch you guys in a bit. Oh yeah! Quick update, my cap is filled with mosquitoes, which is awesome. But I can't really shut the front window because that's where all of my suction mounts are. So, you know, that's the troubles we suffer through as YouTube content creators. We just gotta deal with the fucking mosquitoes. Anyway, figured I'd give you guys an update. We have graded out, I don't know, 70% of this, and this is with me doing the rough benchmarking method that I was showing you earlier, and it's pretty dang close. I think with the laser and a half hour of raking, we'll have this sucker dead nuts all the way across. We're gonna steal one more. One more, uno más, uno más. That is pretty dang close to being a foot. So what I'm going to do now is go through and just pretty things up. But I'm not going to record that because who wants to see me just smear sand around? That would be boring and mind-numbing, and then you guys wouldn't care to watch any more of my videos. And the whole idea here is to hook you like crack cocaine so you watch all of them because they're exciting. And this isn't exciting. So I'll catch you guys here in a bit. All right guys, end of the day wrap up. It was a long effing day of shuttling sand around, and you know, we stripped some topsoil, but the vast majority of it was shoving sand around, a load of sand. Here's our giant mountain of sand. So we've got the class 2 button up against it. Let me darken you up just a hair here. So yeah, let's go up top here. We will walk to the top of the pile so you can see what's going on, because we're basically making an upside down taco, if you will. So we have our 2S sand in the middle, and then we're creating a taco shell, but the taco shell goes over the top, if you will. So here's our 2S sand stripped down the middle, and then you can see how we're humping the class 2 on each side. And that's gonna leave this trough here that we're gonna put our pipe in, and then we're gonna stone. And that's how we're gonna be able to build this berm and have our pipe centered on it and have a nice, and the whole idea behind this is this 2S is the drainage sand. And so as the water leaches out of our system, it's gonna go into this giant sand bed, which is gonna get rid of it quickly, and then slowly it will dissipate into the ground since they have ground here. That's why they do this system. On top of the fact that we had to run the whole thing uphill from where the house is back that way. So that's what we're at. We got a shitload more sand to bring in because this is supposed to be a 4-to-1 slope. Right now it's steeper than a 1-to-1 if I had to guess. So basically we're about, so simple math here. So it's a 4-to-1 slope, right? That means for every foot you go down in elevation, you go out 4. We're 5 feet tall here. What's 5 times 4? That's 20, everybody. You're welcome. I'm here to help with math class. So that's 20 feet from the edge of our 2S here is going to be the base of our class 2 sand out there. So we've got a lot of sand to bring in still. So we will try to get the back side of the berm here on the back side of the job all wrapped up tomorrow. The following day we'll try to finish out the front. I think tomorrow we're going to try to, we'll see how it goes. We got to get the backside done before we trench down to where the tank's going to be, because that inhibits our truck being able to get in here. So we'll get all of this done to where the truck doesn't need to cross. Then we'll finish out the front of the berm and do our pipe. Like I said, our tank got bumped to Wednesday next week, which sucks, but it is what it is. Again, this is the dirt world. This is what you deal with. So it's looking like maybe, let's see here. Today's Wednesday. I'm thinking we're still on par for Saturday digging the basement. So yeah. So tomorrow more sand, and we'll see you tomorrow.